This is the weekend edition of iFiber One News, where we present some of the top stories from this week and your weekend weather forecast. I'm Bethany Jenks. Stay tuned for the weekend edition of iFiber One News.
From the iFiber One HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFiber One News. Your #1 source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFiber One News, and it starts now.
One of our top stories for this week comes from Moses Lake with a group of volunteer gleaners who are harvesting unwanted food to help the local food bank. Reporter Jeff Chu met up with the group and has the story.
Grant County's harvest season is nearly over, but a group of Moses Lake area residents are out in the carrot field picking what has been left behind. The so-called volunteer gleaners are those who harvest the vegetables and fruits that go unwanted in the marketplace because they are weirdly shaped. They pick for the Moses Lake Senior Center and Food Bank. Gleaners say just because the carrots look more like turnips or pumpkins makes no difference. They're still sweet and tender and can be cut up and cooked sight unseen. Rob Callum, who heads up the Gleaners, said they picked more than 500,000 pounds of produce last year. What do they pick?
Just about everything they have here in the basin.
That can be anything from asparagus to apricots. When a farmer notifies Callum that a field is ready for picking, that's when the Gleaners spring into action. The group of more than 120 families is based out of the Moses Lake Senior Center, and each gleaner pays $20 a year for the privilege that allows them to take home some of what they pick. The food can be canned or frozen for the winter. Callum said the gleaners make some major field hauls.
One field we took 24 apple bins down there. And last year with the squash, we filled up 43 bins of butternut squash for the food bank.
Rachel Fry of Moses Lake has been gleaning for about 10 years. It started with a phone call.
A friend called me up and says, "Hey, we're going out for potatoes. You want to come with me?"
Fry said she gleans as a healthy alternative that helps her family keep food costs down.
Now my pantry's pretty full. I've got close to 500 pounds of potatoes in my basement, about 200 pounds of onions. I'm still working on tomatoes and apples. And I'll be doing the carrots, and all my canning jars will be full by the time I'm done.
Fry's daughter Samantha follows her mother into the carrot field. A senior at Moses Lake High School, Samantha has been gleaning with her mother since she was 6 years old. Samantha figures she's gleaned about 6,000 pounds. That's why she's gleaning for her high school senior community service project.
All the food that I have collected, I've donated to the Senior Center, the food bank, or my mom's pantry, and it helps feed the community because you hear so many stories about how people are going hungry, and that's not acceptable when all this food is going to waste out in the field. So it's a good thing for people of the community to come out and get the produce and try and be as self-sufficient as they can.
I'm Jeff Chu for iFiber One News.
In Ephrata, city officials and community members honored and remembered longtime Ephrata resident Doug Miller with a ceremonial tree planting. Reporter Jeff Chu was there and has more.
More than 50 people remembered Ephrata businessman and photographer Doug Miller during a memorial gathering Friday at Sun Basin Plaza. A birch tree was planted and a plaque was placed at the park in the late photo studio owner's honor. Ephrata Mayor Chris Jacobson said Miller was passionate about family and his community. He said Miller knew how to turn the political screws to get things done. Jacobson said Miller advocated for youth in the area. Miller's widow, Madeline, remembered him as a man who became the first non-staff photographer to have a photo placed on the cover of National Geographic magazine. From his backyard in Ephrata, Miller shot the eerie photo of clouds of ash coming from the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens. Jay Mills, president of the City Parks and Recreation Committee and head Ephrata High School coach, officiated the memorial event. I'm Jeff Chu for iFiber One News.
And now we'll take a look at people being sought by the law enforcement.
This is Sheriff Tom Jones with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Each of the people you see here have a warrant for their arrest. If you see any of these people, we ask you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but call us at 509-762-1160 or send us an email at crimetips@co.grant.wa.us. If the person is presenting a danger, call 911. With your help, we can bring these people to justice and make our community safer.
We'll be right back after this.
Attention business owners. The deadline is fast approaching to advertise in the 2015 edition of the Moses Lake Local Book. Don't be the only business left out. In print or online, it's the best way to reach your customer when they're ready to buy. Call today to place your ad by calling 877-738-9829 or by visiting us online at www.statewideyp.com. The Moses Lake Local Book Telephone Directory. Simply the best advertising.
Hi, I'm Angus Lee, the Grant County Prosecutor, and I've spent my entire adult life committed to public service. As a younger man, I fought for our country in the United States Marines, and I was awarded the Combat Action Ribbon and the Purple Heart. For nearly a decade now, I've been fighting criminals here in Grant County. My trial record speaks for itself. I have convictions in over 90% of my jury trials, and I've personally prosecuted the most serious cases, and I've won.
Angus Lee, the proven crime fighter.
I'm Angus Lee, and I approve this message.
Hi everybody, meteorologist Don Morelli with you here on iFiber Channel 1 News Weather. Hope you enjoyed your Thursday and overnight tonight into Halloween. Still a little unsettled, it looks like. Our forecast, by the way, brought to you by Bud Cleary Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And of course, the weekend's just around the corner, so you may have places to go. So we'll see how it fares for you. But we are looking for a nice weekend. I promise you, it is going to get very, very sunny out there. So all the clouds are going to go away, but it's still going to remain a little unsettled through much of the day Friday. During the afternoon hours, we'll see a little bit more of the decreasing clouds and showers around the area here in the Columbian Basin. So squeezing in a nice weekend, but it'll be brief because showers looks like it'll be back by the time we hit the work week. Speaking of showers, how much have we picked up? About 100s, 200s, 300s of an inch generally. Nothing terribly heavy, but again, still made it a gray kind of unsettled day. 56 and 49 the extremes today, and looking at Moses Lake, seeing pretty similar conditions generally, about 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of precipitation. 58 and 47 the extremes. Over the next couple of hours, we might see a few breaks, but then the clouds and maybe some fog coming back in and the showers. So again, a little gray and unsettled still overnight tonight, but another little band or two is going to come in and probably greet us, especially during the morning hours. I'll tell you why here. You'll see as we slide through the overnight hours, some breaks, but then you see at the midnight hour, a little bit more steadier rain, especially the southern areas of the Cascades, and that might hold together to come across just briefly. But notice during the afternoon hours, most precipitation fizzles on out. But if you slide to the weekend, some breaks will develop, but still lots of clouds, but still I think we'll see a fairly decent weekend. Still a little cool, but late in the period you see another slug of moisture there, waiting in the wings, if you will, to come on in to start the work week. But here is the last day of this work week, Friday, coming on up. West of the Cascades, still lots of clouds and moisture. Some breaks developing after some morning showers in our area, and still clouds and showers in the inland northwest. So here we go with the temperatures. You can see, due to the clouds, again, a little cool, but seasonal. A little chilly, if you ask me. But maybe some peaks of the sun during the afternoon as well. Now, again, the trick-or-treaters coming out tomorrow evening. I'm hoping, and I'm not promising, but I'm hoping that it'll be a dry one. I think it will be for the most part. I don't think it'll be too much trouble. And then again, we pick up an hour this weekend. Don't forget to turn that clock back. A little chilly on Sunday morning, Monday morning, and then showers coming on back Monday, Tuesday with some clouds midweek next week. Again, Halloween evening, not too bad. Happy Halloween, everyone. Keep it here. Of course, sports is coming up in just a few minutes.
You don't need me to tell you that 4 and all-wheel drive time is on its way. But maybe you didn't know your local Toyota dealers are gearing up for the season with special savings on our top-selling 4 and all-wheel drive models. From tough Tundra trucks to our best-selling CUV RAV4 or Venza, the perfect blend of all-wheel drive with safety and style. Plus many others. The bottom line is exceptional 4 or all-wheel drive savings just in time for winter. For full details on these and other savings, visit any of your Inland Empire Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, I'm Cindy Carter, your Grant County Commissioner. Currently, I serve the 92,000 residents of Grant County, working with over 700 employees, 11 different labor unions, and providing oversight to an annual budget of $131 million. I have served in this capacity for 7.5 years, working closely with each department and office, reviewing their individual budgets to ensure a balanced overall budget so the county can remain fiscally strong. I'm Cindy Carter. Please vote for me in the 2014 election as your Grant County Commissioner.
Moses Lake Volleyball claimed the #3 seed for the district tournament with a win over Wenatchee at home last night. Reporter Sean Wells was on hand for the action.
6 seniors played their last regular season home match as the Chiefs knocked off Wenatchee in 3 straight sets. A back-and-forth first set went to the wire, but Moses Lake held on to take it 25-22. In the second set, it was all Chiefs. Behind Marissa Strickland's great serves, the team rallied defensively and dominated the Panthers. Chiefs took the second set 25-4. Moses Lake continued to roll in the third set, closing out Wenatchee 25-18 and sweeping the match. Maddie Tudor had 8 kills for the Chiefs, and Marissa Strickland had 7 kills, 6 aces, and 3 blocks. Next up for the Chiefs is a home district playoff match versus either Davis or Sunnyside. For I-501 News, Sean Wells.
Ephrata beat Quincy in 3 sets last night to close out CWAC regular season play. There will be no postseason for the Tigers or Jacks, however, as they finished 7th and 8th in the standings. Only the top 6 teams qualify for the district tournament. The 2B Central Washington District 5-6 girls volleyball tournament takes place at Ephrata High School Saturday. Warden takes on Bridgeport in round 1 in the doubleheader elimination format. This is a tough draw for the Cougars despite finishing the regular season with an 8-2 record in the #2 seed from the South Conference. The Phillies placed 3rd in the North Conference with a 10-4 record and are riding a 5-game win streak as they enter tournament play. Ephrata hosts East Valley in second round 2A district girls soccer action Saturday. The Red Devils beat Othello 2-1 in round 1 Thursday to advance to the match with the #2 ranked Tigers. Ephrata's 15-game win streak was snapped on the final match of the regular season at Ellensburg, so I look for the Tigers to bounce back with a statement win over East Valley. The contest is scheduled for a 1 o'clock start. Alicia Overland recorded a hat trick. McKenna Walker added 2 goals, and Moses Lake shut out Wenatchee 6-0 on the road. The Chiefs in the regular season with an 11-1 record in Big 9 play. Moses Lake and West Valley finish as co-champion. The Chiefs will host the Rams in the district championship match Tuesday at 6 p.m. Well, there are some big games happening on the gridiron tonight as teams position for postseason play. Quincy looks to make it 5 wins in a row when the Jacks travel to Wapato to take on the Wolves. Wharton hopes to keep things rolling as they head to postseason play with a win over Mapton on the road. Ephrata needs to knock off Ellensburg in Bulldog territory to keep the Tigers' slim playoffs hope alive. And Moses Lake hosts Davis in a Big 9 showdown that will determine the #2 seed for the state playoffs. iFiber Communications will be broadcasting the game live at 7. Sean Wells and Cody Johnson will be calling the live action. We'll be right back after this.
I'm Daryl Pheasant. I've been your treasurer for 28 years. I take my oath seriously, following the laws consistently and fairly. This complex job depends on experience. Experience to run a $200 million public investment pool. Experience working with state agencies, banks, attorneys, title companies. Experience to know the law and be able to explain it. With reduced staffing, we need a working treasurer. Let me continue working hard for you. Public service, experience, leadership that is unmatched. Vote Daryl Pheasant for County Treasurer.
This is Garth Dano. I'm asking for your vote for Grant County Prosecutor and have practiced law here with my family for 34 years. I care about this county and the people who live and raise their families here. I'm committed to improving our justice system in Grant County so we can all be proud of it. I will hold serious offenders accountable and will work with all our police officers to protect the public. Currently, it takes 3 to 4 years to have a civil trial heard in our courts. I am committed to working with the judges to solve this unnecessary delay. Please vote for me in the upcoming general election. I am Garth Dano and I approve this message.
Welcome back. Our next story is about the Priest Rapids Fish Hatchery, where Chinook salmon are arriving at an all-time high. Reporter Jeff Chu met up with senior fisheries scientist Todd Pearsons and has the story.
The fall run of Chinook salmon is coming home to Priest Rapids Fish Hatchery in record numbers. Todd Pearsons is senior fisheries scientist with Grant County Public Utility District, which owns and operates the hatchery south of the Desert Air community on the Columbia River. He said so far, Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife staffers who operate the hatchery for the PUD have counted about 45,000 fall Chinook. That's up from 42,000 in 2013. Salmon can be as large as 60 pounds.
And in order for records to be set, you have to have great things happening in the freshwater environment, the migration corridor, and in the ocean. And those things have all lined up, and that's one of the reasons why we're having records.
The hatchery has been around since 1963 when dams were built on the river for power generation. In 2012, it received several upgrades to make it more efficient and productive. Pearsons explained how the hatchery process works.
We collect the fish down at our trap that we visited earlier on in the day here, and that's about, what, a half mile to a mile downstream of here. Those fish get loaded up into a truck, then they go into a center channel here. They're sorted. The fish are put into adult holding ponds until they're ready to be spawned. They then get crowded up. We spawn the fish. Eggs and milt are put together. We then go into the incubation room where those fish are incubated until the fry stage. Then in the winter time, they start getting put out into hatchery raceways on the other side of the building here. And then finally, we do the final polishing in our holding ponds, which are just adjacent to the hatchery raceways. Then the fish migrate out down through a 1 mile long channel. They enter the Columbia River, then out to the ocean, and then hopefully people will have the opportunity to catch them, or they will come back to the hatchery or spawn in the Hanford Reach.
Mature fish are measured, tissue sampled, and harvested for regional food banks.
We'll take about 13 million eggs into the facility, and we will release about 7.3 million fish from this facility, and we will take about 3.7 million eggs down to Bonneville Dam for the Army Corps of Engineers program down there.
Pearsons described the improvements made to the facility. They include a new adult holding pond, a new incubation building, new early rearing raceways, and modifications to the rearing ponds to raise an additional 2.1 million fish. Project cost was about $16 million.
We also improved the way that we handle fish for sorting, so we put in an electroanesthesia unit. So that helps there as well. We've also just updated a lot of the facility. We improved the trap. We do a lot more water-to-water transfer of our fish.
The results of the improvements are putting smiles on the faces of PUD officials such as Pearsons, who like what they see. I'm Jeff Chu for iFiber1 News.
We'll be right back.
I'm Jacob Taylor, and I'm running for Grant County Auditor. As a certified public accountant, I hold myself to the highest level of ethical standards. As a former assistant state auditor and the current director of budget and accounting for Grant County, I have spent my entire professional career working in governmental finance. Please vote to ensure your next county auditor is certified with the experience and integrity necessary to lead Grant County forward. Vote Jacob Taylor, CPA, for Grant County Auditor.
Hello, my name is Michelle Jaderlin, and I'm running for Grant County Auditor. So why should you vote for me? I've lived here for 30 years, and for the past 23 years, I've worked for Grant County. I know every aspect of the job. The people at the county know and rely on me, and know I will be here when they need me. The auditor handles a great deal of money that needs to be accounted for by someone who is committed to serving the people of Grant County. My name is Michelle Jaderlin, and I'm running for Grant County Auditor.
Our next story is about a Quincy student senior project that's bringing the Day of the Dead celebration to the town on Saturday. Reporter Jeff Chu has more information.
For her senior community service project, High Tech High student Maria Gutierrez wants to bring the Day of the Dead tradition to Quincy. Maria and her mentors have long been planning the Day of the Dead, or Dia del Muertos festival. The event will make its debut this Saturday at Quincy High School cafeteria. From 7 a.m. to noon, families will have the opportunity to set up altars honoring their loved ones for a $10 donation. Proceeds will go to the Children's Cancer Society as requested by Maria Gutierrez. The free event officially opens to the public from 1 to 6 p.m. Saturday. Maria said it's a tradition that is near and dear to her family and her Latino culture.
Here in Quincy, they don't do a tradition like in Mexico every single year, November the 1st. It means remembering your loved ones who had died and just being together with their family.
Maria's senior project mentor, Maria Trevino, described the difference between Halloween and the Day of the Dead.
Halloween is All Saints Day. Kids are supposed to go out and dress up and go out and ask for candies as a treat. But according to the history and the story, the traditional story, it says that starting on Halloween, which is October 31st to November 2nd, all the souls come down to be with their families and celebrate, and you bring candies to them and you do the offerings. So they start from the 31st to November 2nd every year. This is a celebration, and that's why in Mexico they celebrate it where the cemeteries are at. It lights up and they fill the roads with lanterns so they can guide their way to the cemetery and celebrate with music. Instead of it being a grieving time, you celebrate their lives and the way they lived.
Trevino shared the meaning of the Day of the Dead.
It's a celebration of life. You put everything that they like, their foods, their activities, and in some places they put down the music that they liked. A lot of our young kids are missing out. They don't know what it is. They hear about it, but they don't know the history behind it.
Trevino, who loves Mexican history, built a Day of the Dead altar to her parents. She said on Saturday she will remember and celebrate her loved ones lost, including her son.
My altar for my immediate family will be on my husband, who was a veteran, and my son, who was 17, and he was murdered in 1999 on his way home from school. So I will be doing one. I'm always sad, but this is one time that I'm going to enjoy putting something happy. All the things that he liked, the food that he liked, put his football shoes out there, put his Letterman's jacket, put everything that was good that he liked.
Mary Garza, who works at the school and helped mentor Maria's senior project, said excitement for the festival is growing.
It's interesting. We've never had anything like this before that I know of.
I'm Jeff Chu for iFiber One News.
Rounding out this week's news coverage is a story about a Moses Lake woman who went above and beyond to decorate her home for Halloween. Reporter Jeff Chu has the story.
Cheryl Coulter has 26 inflatable Halloween figurines on her Crestmont Drive front lawn in Moses Lake. But the Moses Lake School District Secretary says she has good reason.
Trick-or-treating was one of my best memories as a child. Going out and getting candy and dressing up, and I love trick-or-treating, and as much as I think that's great, the Halloween parties they have at school and churches and all that, I don't want home trick-or-treating to die. So I want to make sure that my house says you're welcome to come trick-or-treat here, knock on my door, and I will give you candy.
She has upwards of 70 inflatables to cover holidays year-round. Coulter says she gets them on sale so it's not too hard on her pocketbook. Trick-or-treating kids get candy and a baseball card because her husband Alan is a collector. If you think her Halloween decor is over the top, Coulter says just wait until Christmas. The house is at 2069 South Crestmont Drive. I'm Jeff Chu for iFiber One News.
That wraps up our weekend edition. iFiber One News will be back on Monday at 5 p.m. with the latest news from around the Columbia Basin. Thank you for watching.